25th edition. Tickets are available for that now. Head to Ticketmaster.com for additional details, and WWE.com. I mean, it was awesome. I'm surprised WWE.com didn't crash, but they had enough bandwidth for WrestleMania this year, and airing WrestleMania on the same night as the CMA Awards and the 41st Annual Juno Awards, which we'll be recapping here next time on the show. More details on that over the next little while. It was awesome. The Big Show winning the Intercontinental Championship after brutally murdering Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes did put up somewhat of a fight, but the Big Show winning the Intercontinental Championship, that was to be expected. Because as I mentioned here on our WrestleMania Countdown show, the only championship that's eluded the Big Show in his prestigious career. He's won everything from the WCW Championship in his first match, to the WWE Championship, to the World Championship, to the ECW Championship. He's the only man in history to hold the WWE title, the WCW title, and the ECW title in 2006, accomplishing something that's absolutely unprecedented. And the only championship he's never held is the Intercontinental title. How long will his reign last as Intercontinental Champion? Probably 2.5 months, which is not fair to the Big Show. He needs something going for him, because ever since he returned, with the exception of that feud with Mark Henry, which he didn't get the better of Mark Henry in my opinion, very unjustifiable. I think the Big Show really hasn't had something that means anything since his return. He was brought back with so much momentum. He was going to become the world champion for the first time in years, the same title he competed for when he was 23 years of age. They ruined that. He was looking for something substantial for the last couple of months, and they give him the Intercontinental title. The win of the Intercontinental title was something the Big Show needed. Now he can say that he's won every championship that he was eligible to compete for, and is a Grand Slam winner, something Christian accomplished just a couple of months ago, back in 2011. People like Christian, the Big Show, very deserving of Grand Slam championships. It's awesome, how WrestleMania was this year, treating legends with such respect. The end of an era match was something that I became a bit nervous of. The last couple of days leading into the match, I was praying to God that I hoped The Undertaker was going to win, because I stated here on this show that I believe that The Undertaker's streak is something that he should never lose, and this should be something that should stay with The Undertaker for the rest of his life. Not just his entire career, but the rest of his life. When he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, which could be within the next 2 or 3 years, because The Undertaker's just contractually obligated now to come in and do something for WrestleMania every year, whether it be take on a legend or the next big star within WWE like we've seen him do in years past. Now he's gone undefeated at WrestleMania for 20 years. I think this guy needs to maintain this reputation as the wrestler who was never defeated at WrestleMania. Screw the Shawn Michaels of the world, screw the Triple H's of the world, even go as far as to screw the Mick Foleys of the world, and screw Bret Hart if you want to one more time. Because The Undertaker's streak is something that should never be taken away from him. People like The Miz and Edge have started these undefeated streaks at WrestleMania. The Edge heads of the world started that a couple of years ago. How long did that last? Probably 8 years before it ended. John Cena had an undefeated streak at WrestleMania for a number of years before that was taken away. And The Miz has this undefeated streak at WrestleMania going for him. That'll probably end by WrestleMania 29. I think that these undefeated streaks that these wrestlers have started in the years past are not going to come nowhere near the 20-year undefeated streak of The Undertaker at WrestleMania, so it's not even worth trying to accomplish or surpass, because you're not going to be able to do it. And to take away The Undertaker's streak by having Generation X of all factions within WWE would be different if the New World Order or the Four Horsemen or Strike Force or something ended The Undertaker's win streak, or even the Mega Powers if Macho Man Randy Savage were still alive. He's provided us with so many WrestleMania moments in years past, everything from the Mega Powers colliding at WrestleMania 5 to the incredible match he had with the Ultimate Warrior, where the Macho Man Randy Savage's career temporarily came to an end because of a loss to the Ultimate Warrior. One of the most memorable WrestleMania matches of all time, and the Ricky Steamboat Randy Savage match for the Intercontinental title is one match that I'll never forget. The small package executed to such perfection by the Steamboat in that match. I mean, we've seen so many incredible things, and to see the Undertaker's win streak end at WrestleMania, a guy who's defeated every kind of legend at WrestleMania, from Sid Justice to Randy Orton, and then have his career end and his win streak taken away from him by Triple H would have been absolutely unjustifiably wrong, and I think a lot of fans probably would have rioted. Probably just as many fans would have rioted over the Undertaker's win streak losing as when they rioted over The Rock losing to John Cena, which is something that had to happen because of a riot. You had over 78,000 fans there. You had to have The Rock win his first match in over 10 years, so I think it's awesome. The Undertaker's streak is still intact after all these years. And the question remains, Jim Ross withstood something in our minds that's very interesting. The question remains as to whether or not if we will see The Undertaker compete ever again, if we will see Shawn Michaels have any involvement with WWE, and if we will see Triple H ever compete again. I think after that phenomenal match, these guys deserve about 3 years off. I mean, we've seen The Undertaker take anywhere from 6 months to a year off after giving us an incredible match, and I wouldn't be surprised if The Undertaker versus Triple H, the end of an era match, at this year's Slammy Awards, once again wins Match of the Year. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker has won Match of the Year many times in the past, so why not give it to The Undertaker and Triple H? If you can come in and have one match through the entire 365-day year and win Match of the Year every time you do it, you're still getting paid big money, and you're still receiving tremendous fan support, and you're still getting over. Why not have just one match a year? At least it leaves fans anticipating that one match. If you can give us one fantastic match like The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H are capable of doing every time they have this one match within 365 days, then why not have them do it all the time? You know, I really think that we'll never see The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels ever compete, no matter how many times we chant triple threat over and over again. On a full-time basis. The Undertaker is considered to be basically retired now. He's just contractually obligated to have one match a year. That's at WrestleMania to keep his streak intact. He came through on his promise of having the streak continue. Who he will face next year at WrestleMania, if he does compete ever again, is up in the air. Potential challengers for The Undertaker could be anyone from Wade Barrett to Sheamus, to John Cena, to Batista, to Brock Lesnar. And with Lesnar back in WWE, the door is open now to have this match between Lesnar and The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and I hope they capitalize on this opportunity. We've seen enough of Michaels and Taker, Hunter and Taker. We need something different, and Lesnar versus Taker is on the table for WrestleMania 29. And I think I'm putting that out over the airwaves. We need to see this match, and if not that match, Lesnar versus Batista, or Batista versus The Undertaker in a revamped feud from what we saw in 2007. I mean, a lot of potential challengers are now on the table, with so many people being contracted to WWE. We're not going to get that Sting Undertaker match, so they can at least give us this Undertaker Lesnar match, or Lesnar versus Batista, or Batista versus The Undertaker, or Lesnar versus Batista versus The Undertaker even, for a match at WrestleMania. Really put The Undertaker streak in jeopardy if you have to get this match over. But this one match The Undertaker has every year always gets over. The end of an era match ended with such respect being showed by both Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and The Undertaker, all three individuals leaving with their pride. One man walks out, the man who was deserving of winning. The right individual won that match, is how I phrased it off of the air here to a couple of friends of mine. And I really think that I was right. You know, The Undertaker, the right man, definitely won that match, just as the right man won the main event of WrestleMania. I mean, The Undertaker versus Triple H was a great match, so the right man won. And John Cena versus The Rock was so fantastic, and The Rock was in such great shape and in his prime. It was almost like he hadn't lost a step from 16 years ago when he debuted in New York City, the same place that WrestleMania 29 will take place in, where I see The Rock potentially retiring in a match against John Cena if he has some involvement at WrestleMania, where he always has involvement at WrestleMania in New York. But I think that these matches, The Undertaker versus Triple H and The Rock versus John Cena, were so fantastic. The only outcome that you can have for the match is by having the right individuals win them. So you should have had The Undertaker win the match, and you should have had The Rock win the match. The way I see The Rock winning this match was done fairly and done right. You know, The Rock had to win because it was his first match in almost 10 years. And, you know, I really made a bold prediction here over the last 365 days that you've been listening to this show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter by saying The Rock was going to win. I picked him initially for my pay-per-view predictions, which I just removed from the website in anticipation of Extreme Rules, so you can no longer see them. And when I went back and I reviewed my pay-per-view predictions, I didn't do too bad with picking potential winners. I only was wrong on one match. I had initially picked Theodore Long to win the 12-man tag team match, but I don't know why I did that. Maybe because I wanted to favor a babyface. Usually I divide my predictions up. So many babyfaces, so many heels. And I made a pretty bold prediction by saying The Rock was going to win. And I was so nervous watching this match. And the thing was, when John Cena tried to give him the people's elbow and absolutely mock The Rock fans and The Rock's career over the last 16 years, if you don't believe me, watch something like The Greatest Superstars of the 21st Century from our torrent form, or The Rock the People's Champ, which is an old VHS tape you might be able to find somewhere to really put The Rock's career into perspective, or The Epic Journey of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which is his journey from an upstart to a global phenomenon, which is available everywhere now on Blu-ray and DVD, just as Edge You Think You Know Me, The Story of Edge, is available now on Blu-ray and DVD, just dropping a couple of days ago. That is a fantastic documentary. Our review of that is available here on our YouTube channel. I think that The Rock winning this match was something that was inevitable, because they couldn't have The Rock come back in his home state with over 78,000 fans watching him live and in person, and millions of people purchasing this event at home. There would have been a lot of complaints to cable companies and satellite providers, and there would have been a lot of complaints and a potential riot in Miami, if not at WrestleMania the night after. I mean, 13,000